Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests today are Tom Milligan and Deb Kennedy, the K and T of TKM Theatrical Productions. Welcome.
I'm also the M.
Oh, you're also. Of course you are. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. So he got two initials, and you only got one, Deb.
Well,
Yeah.
the T actually,
What the heck?
The T actually stands for team.
Oh, T. Okay.
So she gets, it's Team Kennedy. So
Okay.
she's first, and
Okay.
it's alphabetical.
All right. Now, see, learn
And
something.
he's obviously fine with that.
Right, there you go. I'm perfectly okay with that, believe me.
So you're, you've obviously, you've been producing together for a long time, but
Almost 10 years now.
But you recently took over the space, the Amana Performing Arts Center. I've done a couple of shows there, and I think you're off to a pretty good start. Yes.
Yeah, when the building became available, we arranged with the Amana Society, which now has the building, and kept it as a theater, to have that space to work in. So we went through the process. When that became available, we went through the process of finally making ourselves formal and legal, and we incorporated it as a not-for-profit. And so we've got a board of directors and all set up to go, and started actually working last year in the space, and produced 3 things, I believe, last year in the space. Full season this year, so it's full steam ahead at the Amana Performing Arts Center. We're just one faction of that.
Yeah, we did.
It is a center that's open for. We have a dance recital come. We don't have a dance recital, but they have a dance recital coming up, and other music events and things like that. So it's open for other people to use as well.
Well, it's a nice space. I'm glad to see it
Very
getting
nice
used.
space, yeah, a little under 300 seats, and it needs some work inside technically, but the Amana Society is working on that, so we're very pleased with that.
And you have a show upcoming, Marriage Can Be Murder.
We do, and
Yes.
it is. Yes.
Marriage.
Now,
The show is called Marriage is Murder.
Yeah.
However, we find the show somewhat relatable. No.
Real life.
Producing live theater can also be murder.
Yes. Yeah.
As a married couple, which you are. For those keeping track at home and did not know, Tom and Deb are also married.
Yeah.
But we're having a good time with it. It's fun to do. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's about Paul and Polly Butler, and they are writers, and they used to be married, but they are somewhat recently separated and divorced. She decided to go out to California to pursue a writing career on her own. She wanted to be able to be established on her own and have something that she felt that she could be proud of, and she basically aspired to be a screenwriter. So she went and pursued that out in California. But then she decides she's going to come back because she wants to write more murder mysteries, which they always did together. And so one of the fun things with the show is, they always acted it out to see if it was plausible. So they would say, okay, well, what if, for example, there's someone get on the phone and they get strangled while they're on the phone. So you see us trying to act this out, and we're like, well, that doesn't work. It's like, don't you ever change hands or ears? Because if your hand's there, then you can't get the rope around the neck. So it's like, someone did not do their. So you kind of see us kind of acting it out and making sure that whatever plot line and whatever device that they are writing about is plausible.
Well, and of course, you also might have to do some education for your younger audience members about phones with cords.
Right, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Not that this
But
is,
nonetheless, if you are not on speakerphone, then if you are holding the phone up to your ear, whether it's a cell phone or cord phone or whatever, the arm is actually in the way of getting the rope, unless you have to. Yeah. So
okay.
unless you are able to thread it through the arm, to get it to the neck. But it's like if someone's holding that. So sorry, this is why we can't have nice things. So basically the arm is blocking the rope from getting to the neck.
Well, see, we've learned something about garroting already in
Yeah.
just our first 4.5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's interesting. This isn't that old of a show, and I think this is the problem that a lot of theaters are running into, that we do occasionally, is that technology has changed so much.
And so
since
fast.
Since a lot of these shows were written, it's like, well, why would they have a phone with a landline? That type of stuff. So for theaters out there, you've got issues with dealing with modern upgrades of technology in shows that were written not that long ago. It's like, well, how do we make this work? And so we've had some issues like that with this show as well.
So the couple is no longer together, but now they're working together.
Yes.
And how does that go?
Well, my character's a little reluctant to do it in the first place, but he hasn't seen her for 18 months since the divorce. He has another relationship, but decides to do it just for the money. She has different motives. Her character has different motives, but mine is, I just need some money, so let's just write this thing quick and get it done out of the way. And then it kind of... art starts to imitate real life, and real life starts to imitate art a little bit in the show.
Kind of War of the Roses-esque, perhaps?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. And they each think that they can outdo each other and try to outdo each other, and so it's an interesting show.
Where'd you first find the show?
We just always do a bunch of research. We've actually never seen a production, but in doing the research for our season and what sounds fun, we just started looking online, small cast comedies, and we always like to see if there's a show that the two of us could do together. So with it being a 2-person cast, male and female. The title seemed right. So that was the main appeal for us, is that it's like, oh, this is kind of a fun concept. We'll get to work together, because it's like often, we don't get a chance to play opposite of each other on stage anymore. So yeah, it just seemed like a fun fit for us.
And there isn't a separate director, right? You're kind of directing yourselves?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of a one-man band at this point in time. We have volunteers that are helping. We have, people in the lights and the sound booth and stuff like that. But at this point, for this, we've done this enough, just the two of us doing a 2-person show, that we pretty much know what each other's capabilities are and how we work. And we work very well together. And we can rehearse lines at home on the sofa at night and things like that. So it's one of those things where we just kind of work it out on stage during the rehearsal process, and we'll have people come in that eventually they'll take a look at it and say, maybe we do this or that. But right now it's pretty much just us doing it, and that's kind of what we've always done with our 2-person shows.
Does create an extra level of complexity for your organization, however, when all of the principals are involved on stage?
Well, it was one of those things that it's like, because so we did in February, we did The Love List, which was a wonderful project, and I loved working with all those actors, and they just all worked so well together. And it had special meaning for us because Tom and I had done that show with Rick Swan, and just loving the fact that we have that memory of doing that show with him. And so, but it was great having the opportunity to direct the cast. And it was kind of a flip of character or roles because when we did it originally, Clark was the director. And so when we did it in February, then they were in the show. Clark and Kai were in the show, and we brought along Ken Van. How do you say his last name? I've never said his last name.
Was it Essel? Van Essel? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I've never pronounced his last name, and I'm going to say it incorrectly. But anyway, anyway, so yeah, it's like it was fun to be able to direct that, and then you're like, okay, and then when we're not in rehearsals, then we'll work on all the other things such as sound, costumes, props, set, volunteer coordinator, box office stuff, and marketing, and all of that kind of stuff, and it's like, oh, and now we also have to allot time for memorization. I was like, what were we thinking?
Yeah.
This was yeah.
But this putting on plays thing is kind of a lot of work.
But we are expanding out. The next show we're bringing in a director. Well, actually, the next 2 shows we're bringing in directors, bringing in some more people. We're starting to get to that point where we can involve more people and want to involve more people. The last thing we want is TKM Theatrical Productions to be the Tom and Deb Theater. That's not the purpose of this. So this show just ended up being one that we could do that with very easily. But we've got more directors coming in. We're using Iowa City people. We're using Cedar Rapids people. So we're trying to reach out a little bit more, and that's working.
We do pay our actors and our directors and staff and everything. And so we're getting to the point where we can have larger casts and starting to get the ball rolling for us financially. And so yeah, our main goal is, one, we just really want to serve our community. We always felt like, for me, I'll speak for myself, I always feel like theater is a service to your community. And Tom and I were old Creamery alumni, and that's where we met and fell in love. And so the space in itself in the middle of these cornfields has a special place in my heart always. And for the people that brought us in and that team that made the Creamery amazing, always will have a special place in my heart. But I always saw, too, how special it was being in Amana. And I feel like theater in general, especially now post-pandemic, if we can say we're post-pandemic, I mean, I know it's still kind of out there, but I think it's not as, it's a softer version of the original pandemic, but people need an escape. They need to laugh. For so many people, it was part of their family tradition for so many years as they would come to the Amana colonies and get some food, do some shopping, see a show. We actually talked to a family during the holidays that came to our Christmas show that said, "Thank you for doing this. I saw this beautiful family in the lobby, and it looked like 4 different generations were there. So little ones up to grandma, and they were having such a wonderful time trying to do selfies in the lobby. And so I asked if I could assist them, and she explained that had been their family tradition for 40 years. That because of where all the family is located, Amana is the central location for them to all gather together for the holidays. And they would do just that. They would go shopping, eat some good food, and come see a show. And that was their holiday tradition every single year. And they'd been doing that for 40 years. So they were very saddened, when the Creamery had to close their doors, and as were many people. And so she was so appreciative for the fact that they were able to continue with their family tradition. So, yeah.
Marriage Can Be Murder, March 24th through the 26th at the Amana Performing Arts Center. How do people get tickets?
So if you go to our Facebook page, it is TKM Theatrical Productions, and you will see the event page. So you just look under the events, and you just decide if you want to come Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You go to that event, and you'll be able to get tickets off of our Facebook page. There's ticketing links on our Facebook page, also listed on the Amana calendar, as well as the RV Park calendar. And if you don't have online capabilities, just give me a call or email me at deborahkennedy@live.com. It's DeborahKennedy @live.com, or you can give me a call.
All right.
And we've also added a matinee for this show, Sunday matinee at 3 o'clock, which will be there for the rest of our shows. And our December show, we're actually going to 2 weekends because of Prelude Weekend in Amana. So we had the first weekend set, and Prelude Weekend opened up for us in the building, and we decided to take that plunge and do 2 weekends for those people who go, "Oh, I couldn't be there that weekend." Well, now we're giving you a second weekend. So.
TKM Productions on the grow, definitely.
There we are.
All right. Well, good luck with it. Don't kill each other or yourselves in trying to wear so many hats.
Yeah, you will see weapons, but nobody gets hurt. They're all like props. So, yeah.
All right. It's Marriage Can Be Murder, March 24th through 26th at the Amana Performing Arts Center. Look up TKM Theatrical Productions on Facebook, and you'll find ticket links. Or you can also call the phone number, do the email, which is, for those watching the video, is actually underneath our pictures at this very moment.
Perfect.
Or you can find it online as well. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Dennis.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:30, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture, or using your favorite podcast player. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.